One of the biggest disappointments for me is when I hear people say, I'll give it 3 months, I'll give it 6 months, and if it doesn't work by then, I'll go and get a job. Of course, we all need to pay the bills, but giving yourself a deadline, 3 months, 6 months, often becomes a quiet exit plan. That mindset shapes your actions even more than you realize. If you are telling yourself any of those stories, you may be sabotaging your business success because it means you are treating your business like a project, a burst of energy, a checklist, a sense that at some point it's going to be done. But a business is not a one-off task. It is something that you live and you practice, just like personal development, just like yoga, just like meditation. There is no end point. Last week, I joined a program called Remember the Mission. It is run by an ex-military sergeant, and the standard is intense. It's a bit like my program has a lot of women and 3 men at the moment, which is amazing. This is a program I'm in where everybody is a man other than me. So it's been great to just experience something completely different. And for a while, I made up the stories that people were able to do these types of things because they maybe don't need to do the school run and all of the things that I say to myself as a woman. So there is morning accountability that needs to be done before 8 o'clock. There is evening reflection to be done before 8 p.m. There is a weekly review and plan to be shared every single week by Sunday night. No excuses, no delays. If you don't do it by the certain time, you will get a cross rather than a tick in the communal shared sheet. So you can see exactly who is committed to their mission and who isn't. And at first I thought this is a lot, but it has really had a big impact on me in just the 1 week I've currently been doing this. And it reminded me why so many people stay in an unhappy life, because having a committed life is actually a lot of hard work, consistency, discipline. It also reminded me how I love reflection, and I know some people just don't get it and they don't think of anything to say. But for me, it's such a huge game changer. And it's made me think about how we treat our businesses, just taking that moment to pause, reflect, what can I do differently, rather than stay in the same pattern, making the same mistakes. Here are my learnings from Mission Pro. Remember the mission. Firstly, how high standards reveal how much we usually tolerate mediocrity. Second, personal responsibility builds identity. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows and you feel unstoppable. And how small actions repeated daily compound into something truly remarkable. So for me, my main outcome so far has not been business, it has been personal. But this personal thing has a huge impact on my business and energy levels. So if you are a parent, maybe you will resonate, because every morning I have to nag to get my children out the door to make sure that they've done their spellings, their times tables, their reading, they've got their bags together, they've had breakfast. And starting the day on this foot was exhausting. And when I got back to my desk at 9 o'clock, once I'd finally got this bit done, had sucked 80% of my energy before the day had even begun. And through that evening reflection, I shifted into leadership mode. They didn't always have clocks in their room, so they knew what time they needed to be downstairs. So I designed a simple system, a check-in at the bottom of the stairs. Write down the time you get down there, ensure that you have done 3 ticks, and then you will gain £1 of pocket money for full completion each day. And so that one evening reflection on the bad day I had on Monday turned that into a routine that has transformed my week, and I'm hoping it transforms my life if we can keep this up. So when we stop reacting and start designing systems like the one I've discussed in our business, then everything will change. So maybe you are treating your business like a project, like maybe everything will be great when your website's done, when whatever it is you're working on is over the line. But growth comes from practice, from showing up, from reflecting, from adjusting. Being part of this program has reminded me that success is built in micro habits, not in occasional big wins. The people that I work with who are super successful in their business keep showing up long after the novelty wears off. They refine, they review, they recommit. They don't think that they are too advanced for basic things like your niche, your offer, your marketing. Those things are never done. This is a game of mastery where we refine and we iterate as we go. And that is what will bring success into your business. So how can you draw up your bare minimum for daily accountability? So one habit that anchors your day, that might be a to-do list at the beginning of the day. It might be reflection at the end of the day. It might be connecting with people on LinkedIn every single day. Then your evening reflection, what worked, what didn't, what to try tomorrow. And this has been really helpful because he calls it a shutdown routine. And as you'll know, as a business owner, it's really hard to shut down. So actually spending that time at the end of each and every day has really helped me to be more present in my family. Then the weekly mission check. So remind yourself what you're really building and why. I did a 15-minute guided visualization to see my future. And I realized when I hit play on that visualization that I hadn't allowed myself the luxury of feeling good and leaning into my future at all for a really long time. And when I started my business, I was lucky to really feel a vision. I attended a workshop where we created one, and I've had it stuck up on my wall ever since. So how can you adopt a rhythm in your business to build that structure that will keep you consistent when motivation fades? This week, I've learned that it's about raising the standard for how you live each and every day, and a no excuses mentality. He's really big on this. There will be ups and downs in life. It doesn't mean we can just stop everything in our business and then start again a few months later when it's perfect conditions again. And then when the non-perfect conditions come in, like most days, if you're human like me, that then it overrides you again and you're back to square one. So how can you allow yourself to feel good, to allow yourself those moments of luxury in your day where you do feel peace, where you do feel connected to your vision, so you can keep going, even if that's a small daily action? So what is one standard you could raise this week, and what would change if you actually stuck to it? Write it down, tell someone, start now, get perfect later. Mine has been deleting all of my social media apps from my phone so I can enjoy my half term off with my kids. So that is what I am practicing at the moment in my business. I hope it gives you inspiration of what you can practice in your business too. And like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend, and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly, and try.